Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast, brought to you by the last man standing with loserpool.com. As ever, I'm your host, Harry Symeou, and we're back with another fans phone in. Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner. It's the Arsenal podcast brought to you by the last man standing with loserpool.com. As ever, I am your host, Harry Symeou, and we are back with another fans phone in. It's been a few weeks since we did the last one. Unfortunately, been extremely busy. Some of you will know I've started a new job, which is great, and I'm loving it, but it's meant that I've got a lot less spare time on my hands, which means that unfortunately I've not been able to do as many fan phone-ins as I would like, but do not fear, we'll be getting back into routine and bringing those to you weekly moving forward. I know that everybody loves them, and I know that you guys love having your say, and you listen to me enough on this channel, so it's about time that I let you guys have a say on all things Arsenal too. Now, I expect that this evening we're going to have a lot of disgruntled Arsenal supporters. We've actually broken a record for the amount of phone numbers that have come through for an evening. So we're going to be getting through as many of those calls as we possibly can within the hour. We might go a few minutes over if we need to, but just bear with us. If you have put your number down, we will promise to try and get to as many as we possibly can. But as I said, we've got a lot of numbers tonight, so if I don't get through to you before we finish up, I do apologize, and I'll put you at the priority for the next time. So, yeah, that's how it's going to work tonight. Now, of course, Arsenal suffered another disappointing defeat. And you know what? We've not really lost that many games this season. That was our third Premier League defeat. It's been a case of too many draws. It's been an issue. We've really struggled to teams down at times. And then when we do get in front, we can't seem to hold on to a lead at the moment. There's a lack of creativity. The defensive shape is all over the place. Emery switched to a back three for the Leicester game. And for me, I kind of was on board with that. If you had seen my preview, I was okay with that. I wasn't against the back three. But the way we implemented it was just absolutely all over the place. It was really poor. Really disappointing to see. I thought that our midfield were poor. I thought Guendouzi and Torreira were completely overrun. I couldn't understand the positioning of Aubameyang and Lacazette, who were almost playing like wingers, with Mesut Ozil operating through the middle. Like a sort of false nine. That drove me crazy as well. Lots and lots of stuff to discuss, as always. You know, we've got things to discuss from the Leicester game, of course, but we've also got the future of Unai Emery to discuss, because lots and lots of people are up in arms about it. People want him gone. People are fed up of the style of football. The results are still not coming. So what is the solution? Is it time to give Unai Emery the chop? I want to hear from you guys this evening. Like I said, be getting through as many of your calls as we possibly can within the allotted time. If you are interested, you need to head over to us on Twitter, which is at Chronicles_AFC, and you need to DM us your name and telephone number. If you're contacting us from abroad, then we need your name and your Skype ID, and we will make our best effort, as I said, to get through as many of your calls as we possibly can. We've got some of you lined up from abroad this evening, which is great. Nice to know that we're reaching out further. So without further ado, I'm going to get onto the calls. I'll be bringing you my detailed thoughts of the Leicester game tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Look out for that. But going to go to our first call now. Let's get on with it. Let's hear what you guys have to say on the matter. Here we go. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Chronicles of a Gooner, mate. What's your name and where are you contacting us from?
I'm Rahul. I'm from India. It's like 4 a.m. in the morning. I was
Wow.
mainly waiting for your show.
Great stuff, Rahul. Welcome to the show, mate. Always a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to talk to all our listeners. Rahul, what do you want to say on the Arsenal at the moment? How are you feeling about things?
Actually, in India, in some part of India, we are very passionate about Arsenal FC, and we have got some clubs like Arsenal, Kolkata, and Delhi and Mumbai. but at the same time we are feeling like little bit more depressed. Like we were expecting more from Arsenal. I think the manager that we brought, it was like we got a very influence about them, like this guy will do this and that. But at the same time we were very disappointed about the results, and at the same time I think this is not good for us.
Is it time to
Definitely we are going downward.
Rahul? Is it time to pull the trigger on Unai Emery? Do you think he's still the right man to lead
I
Arsenal?
think after seeing a lot of tweets and in the media that the our members will not sack him, so I think like we have to give him a chance. I know like every fan, myself including, I don't want that guy because he is finished. Because if you can bottle like 4 or 5 nil lead to a Barcelona, then it's not good enough. And he also doesn't want anything in Valencia in his last year. He didn't want a single away match, so it's not good enough.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I'm really, really disappointed by what I've seen. Those who listen to the show regularly will know that it is not new for me. I've been worried about Unai Emery for quite some time now. What did you make of the Leicester game in isolation? What did you make of the change of formation? Was you on board with that?
No, what I think, like what we are facing in a situation, like fans are mourning about everything and they want Mourinho and everything. But at the same time, what I feel like we are in the process in somewhat like we want to achieve something in the same as what Liverpool did with their team and Jurgen Klopp. They brought Jurgen Klopp and they have adapted some style. But at the same time, I think like Unai Emery is not like the matter. We can't compare both those two guys at the same time, so it's not good. And I think like we have to make a change, but the board, we know like Cronky and everyone will not change their our manager. So we have to stick with our team and support everyone, and hopefully we can do some better performance in the next upcoming matches. Like we are having Southampton, Norwich, so we can expect like we can win. But at the same time, as an Arsenal fan, away from England, abroad fan, we are very disappointed.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. What have you made of the Jose Mourinho links? Is he someone that you'd like to see at the club?
Actually, he's a winner, and he won everything in from Chelsea, Inter Milan, Real Madrid. But what I feel like his time is done, just like a Wenger. So I think it will not suit us in the way, in the context of the game, what current Premier League is holding and what the current football is happening. So I think this will be not a good move. We should move for like Allegri or someone like that, who is a winner and who is like current available in the market, who can achieve everything in this club. We got potential. We got money, as we have seen in this summer. We have spent tons of money on everything. So I think like if we can get someone like Allegri or something, Simeone is out of our reach. But
Yep.
still, if we can get someone like that, so it will be very good for us.
Brilliant stuff. Rahul, thank you so much for calling us, my friend. What time is it in India now?
It's like almost 4 a.m. in the morning. I was keenly waiting for your phone call.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for taking
Thank
part
you.
and thank you
Okay,
for
thank
listening.
you, Eric.
And we'll be sure to speak to you again very soon, mate. All the best.
Okay, all the thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. That was the brilliant Rahul calling from India. It's almost 4 a.m. over there. Jesus Christ. That is some dedication to the show. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Of course, we've got lots of live comments coming through. Not that many of you watching on YouTube at the moment, but we've got lots of you tuned in via Twitter. So a big hello to you guys too. And of course, hello to everybody who is listening via the audio later on. Yeah, so Rahul, pretty positive, and it's nice to hear that. It's nice to hear that point of view, isn't it? Because a lot of us have been very doom and gloom lately. Brian Gibbons in the chat, he says, Harry, what about Rafa Benitez? I'd absolutely take Rafa Benitez. I think he's a better manager than Unai Emery. I think he could stabilize us temporarily. But is Rafa Benitez a long-term answer? Probably not. And maybe, we have to give up on this dream of getting the long-term manager again straight away. Arsene Wenger was a 1 in a million. You're not going to get a manager stay at a club for so long ever again, in my opinion. Those types of managers, that breed of manager has died and has gone. So yeah, I think that we're going to be making appointments with 2-3 years in advance, sort of being in mind. And I'd pull the trigger now, as you guys know. Right, let's get on to the next caller. Here we go.
Hey, hi there, Harry. You all right?
How you doing, mate? What's your name and where are you talking to us from?
It's Jim. It's Hendon Gooner from Northwest London. How are you, man? You all right? Yeah.
I'm good, mate. How are you? Thank you for dialing in.
My pleasure.
Lots to talk about, of course. Arsenal fans really, really upset with the way things are going at the moment. There's been talk of Mourinho coming in. First of all, I want to ask you, mate, and it's the question that I'm going to put to everyone tonight. Are you Emery in or are you Emery out?
Emery out, mate. He's got to go.
And what is maybe most frustrated you? Because for me, it's been the lack of identity, the lack of style, the boring football. I mean, there's a whole combination of things. But for you, what is it? And when did you get to the point where you decided that maybe Emery isn't the one?
For me, it was towards the end of last season when he chopped and changed the team and sacrificed going for top four, putting all his eggs in that one basket of that of the Europa League final. And it was the manner of the substitutions and all that sort of thing which compromised the team. And I said at that point, now I used to work with a couple of French guys, yeah, and they were PSG fans, and they warned me, and they said, watch out for this guy, because they used to nickname him the Spanish Ranieri, the Tinker Man.
The Tinker Man, yeah.
Because he would faff around with the team. And that's why he fell out with a lot of the PSG players as well. And I think that has haunted him here at Arsenal, that he can't handle the players. And we've got to look at it now, right? Okay, we played 12 games, so effectively we're 1/3 through the season. Okay, we're 17 points away from the top team. We're 8 points off fourth. Okay, our goal difference is -1. Okay,
it's poor, isn't it?
It's with the attackers we have in Lacazette and Aubameyang, our goal difference is -1. Okay, if you look at our next set of fixtures from December onwards, and we're going to make Southampton look like prime Barcelona, we're going to struggle against them. Yeah, we've got Man City, Chelsea, Man United. Okay, for that next part of the season, for those next 12 games, if we perform the same way, with 4 wins, okay, with 5 draws and those 3 losses, we're in relegation form.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
And we are supposedly a top Premier League team. We moved to the Emirates to compete with the best of Europe. Yeah. And we are struggling to beat teams like Sheffield United and things like that. I'm sorry. It's football. I mean, the last caller you had on where he said, when we play Southampton and Norwich, we hope we will win. Football is a results business. You don't hope for things. You prepare and you execute, you perform. Okay? And we're not doing that.
And with all due respect, we should be beating those teams, shouldn't we? We're Arsenal Football Club.
Exactly. Yeah, but you can't hope. Again, you prepare, you perform, you execute. Unfortunately, this guy isn't doing that. He is not doing that. The team he put out yesterday against Leicester was basically to save his job, and it wasn't to win the game, it was to avoid losing. He was holding out for 0-0 there. And unfortunately, when we conceded that goal, that was it. We fell apart. Okay?
That's right.
Listen, I don't see how much more the fans can do, okay, apart from not going to matches, not buying the merchandise, to force this board to pull the trigger. I'm really hoping that the statement they came out with today, where they said, they're backing him and everything, is the equivalent to the chairman's backing the manager's statement, yeah, and that in the next couple of days they will pull the trigger on him. Yeah, because we can't afford to miss out on the top 4 again. And even if we sneak in by a miracle through the Europa League to win it, which we're not, okay, by a miracle, do you think this current team with this guy is going to progress any further in the Champions League?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So we got to, they got to call it quits. And if they don't, then they are as big a problem as Emery is. And it goes to show that all this team, all this club has become is with a big stadium is just to fleece the customers, not the fans. We're customers. And that's all it is.
Absolutely, mate. Some great points there. And I totally agree with you. And, you know, in particular where you said, you know, about the games that we're going into, you know, and those fixtures is what kind of makes me think that maybe they won't pull the trigger. Maybe in their eyes, we've got a couple of winnable fixtures. If I'm not mistaken, it's Southampton home and then Norwich away, who are two very poor sides at the moment, two sides who are really, really struggling. And maybe in the eyes of the board, they're looking at those games and thinking, right, Emery's got an opportunity here to turn the ship. And maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't particularly agree with that. If it was me, I'd have pulled the gun, you know, on him at the end of last season, but it is what it is.
But again, you see, it's this hope. We hope that we'll turn the performance around. But you know and I know we're going to make Southampton look like Barcelona. Norwich will score against us. We're going to struggle. And this is the problem. We're struggling just to put an identity on our football, just to perform the basics. We can't even get the basics right.
Yeah.
And that's going to hurt us at this level. Any team in this division, look at Watford, okay? We were 2-0 up on them, and we still made them look like prime Barcelona in that second half, you know, with the number of shots and everything. So trust me, Southampton, they actually gave Everton a good game yesterday, okay? They are going to be up for it against us. They are our bogey team, you know. Last time we went there, same performance. Remember, last time Southampton were on the road, and what happened to us back there last season?
That was the famous game where Unai Emery decided to play a system of 3 centre halves with one half-fit centre back. It was Lichtsteiner, Xhaka, wasn't it? And Koscielny had been out for 9 months. It was an absolute joke. Mate, I'm going to have to leave it there just because I've got...
Nice one, Harry. All the best, mate.
Thank you so much, mate. All the best, and thank you for coming on, and we'll no doubt speak soon via Twitter, I'm sure. All the best, mate. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Another great call. Lots of your calls coming through this evening. Some fantastic guests. Please keep them coming. Like I said, don't forget, if you want to get involved, you know how to do it. You got to DM us on Twitter with your name and telephone number. If you're contacting us from abroad, we need your Skype, and we're going to be getting through as many of those calls as we possibly can within the allotted time frame. Let's give you guys a quick reminder. Don't forget to like the video if you're watching us on YouTube, and that really, really helps. And if you're new, please do hit that subscribe button. It's really important. We're approaching 3,500 subs, which is amazing, considering that up until the summer we were pretty much just an audio podcast. So really proud of that, and thank you guys so much. Right, let's hit the telephone lines once more. Here we go. I love that Skype ringtone. It's amazing.
Once more, here we go.
Good evening, mate. Welcome to the Chronicles of a Gooner. What's your name and where are we talking to you from?
Hello.
How you doing, mate? Welcome to the show. What's your name?
My name is Josiah. I'm from Seattle.
Hi, Josiah. Welcome, mate. How are you? And what time is it in Seattle now?
It's about 20 minutes past 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's all right. We're not keeping you up at night then. What do you want to say on the Arsenal, mate?
No. One thing that confuses me is like so many people have an affinity for Guendouzi, and I cannot see what he brings to the team. Because from what I observe, he doesn't know how to defend. He doesn't know how to spring a counter attack. Like yesterday game, there were so many chances when he had a chance like to give the first ball to Ozil. Ozil was open in the space, and he just passed a square. And for me, we need Chaka. We need Chaka back.
I agree with you, mate. I wrote an article on it during the week, which you can find on my Twitter feed, and I explain the reasons why I feel that Xhaka deserves a place in the team. Now, it's not necessarily that I think Granit Xhaka is a great midfielder, because I don't. It's because when you look at our other options, we're struggling. You know, Guendouzi, for me, he's played 2 good halves of football this season. The second half against Villa and the second half against Spurs. I thought in those games he was sensational, but he's very ill-disciplined from a positional standpoint. He's been giving the ball away terribly in the last couple of weeks. And, you know, the problem here is that we're over reliant on a 20-year-old kid. That's a problem, isn't it?
Yep. That's I concur with you. And another thing, like, I don't understand why Emery is so preoccupied with like helping the defense, like having the entire midfield coming to help the defense. We are always like our defenders are always like running back, and we find ourselves like there are 8 defenders inside the box and 2 attackers, and at the end of the day, the attackers always have a chance to shoot at the goal and they score. So I don't understand why we don't have like proactive defenders who are ready to engage. Like if they see there's a striker coming, they go to engage. All our attackers are always like pedaling back, and I don't get that at all.
Yeah, I mean, David Luiz has been really frustrating in that sense, in the way that he always drops off, doesn't he? He doesn't want to engage into the tackle. Is it a fear of a lack of pace? I don't know exactly what it is, but that's something I've certainly noticed as well. My friend, where are you on the Emery debate? Are you Emery in or Emery out?
No, I'm Emery out. He should be gone. Like, there's no chance of him succeeding. He can't turn this thing around. It's too gone.
Agreed, mate.
Yep.
Go ahead, mate. Sorry.
No. Okay, go. No. It's you.
I was just going to say, mate, thank you so much for contacting us. And we're going to move on just because we've got so many calls this evening. I want to get through as many of you as I possibly can. Thank you very much, mate, for calling all the way from Seattle. That's incredible. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you. Then thank you for having me. Thank you.
All the best, mate. Speak soon. Cheers.
All right. Bye. Cheers.
There we go. Another international one. Josiah from Seattle. It's interesting, isn't it? So far, nobody has defended Unai Emery, which shows you where we've got to as Arsenal fans in terms of this debate. Let's move on to the next call. Like I said, want to get through as many as we possibly can. Don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe if you are joining us on YouTube. And if you're listening on the audio after via iTunes, please do leave us a review. Let's go back to the phone lines.
Hello.
Good evening, Melvin. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, Harry. How are you? All right?
Not bad, mate. Yet? Not bad. Do you know what? I expected it, mate. I expected it. I'm finding that I'm what's the word? I'm finding that I'm getting less upset from week to week because I'm kind of expectant of it. What did you make of the performance yesterday, Melvin, overall?
It was poor, and I'll tell you why I thought it was even worse than I expected. It was because I didn't think Leicester were that good, funnily enough.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I didn't think they moved the ball as quick as they normally do. I know the conditions weren't great, but they never put us to the sword. I mean, they were the better team, let's face it, but I imagined that they were going to do a lot more to us, and we had a chance to nick a lead, never took it, and then after that, once that first goal went in, it was lights out.
What did you make of Emery's decision to switch to a back three, and how did you feel that went?
Well, that's what happens, you know, when you put things when you put bits of paper in a bag and take them out, that's probably how he picks his team. It just doesn't make any rhyme or reason to me, honestly. I give up trying to think what he's going to do now. Just give up. Yeah,
no, I agree. It's really difficult to predict. I think all season I've been trying to predict these teams in sort of the articles I've been writing, and I'm always one player out. I found of late, which is I think quite good considering how much he tinkers. But it is really frustrating that we don't have a set way of playing, that we don't have a go-to system. We don't know who our best 11 is, and Emery will argue that it's a squad game, etc., etc. But when you look at the likes of Liverpool or you know, not so much Manchester City, they've got a lot of injury problems at the moment, but Liverpool have a set system. Now, Jurgen Klopp may change the midfield three now and again, depending on the game. Maybe Henderson will play, maybe Milner will play, maybe Wijnaldum will play, maybe he won't, you know. But the system and the basics, the fundamental shape is there, and they all know exactly what they're doing. Why does Emery feel the need to chop and change so much, in your opinion?
Well, I said at the beginning of the season, before the ball was kicked, that I'll give him 10 games. But I've given him 10 games. He doesn't even know his best midfield. He just doesn't understand. You know, doesn't know what his best three midfield is, let alone the rest of the team. So I think I think his confidence must be down as well. I've seen him in a couple of games where his shoulders are down, and I'm not surprised, really.
Do you think we're worse off without Granit Xhaka, Melvin?
We probably are, but he's not the answer, but we probably are. Yeah, he's the best of a bad bunch.
Agreed.
I'm like you. I don't think he's particularly very good. I think he's a liability, and people seem to forget about that now because he hasn't played for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
but we could do it.
Go ahead, mate.
We could do a lot better than him, Harry.
Yeah, I agree. I think in the long term, we need to be looking to probably move him on and probably replace him with someone with more quality, a bit more sort of defensive stability. I totally agree with that. I do think, though, you're right when you say he's the best of a bad bunch, because if you look at our midfield since he's been out of the side, in my opinion, it's been worse. We've been even less competent in possession. And one thing people always talk about Granit Xhaka is that he's not very mobile, and I agree with that. But I was doing some research during the week for an article that I was writing, and I was going through some heat maps of the players' positioning in the last few weeks, and I looked back at some of Granit Xhaka's ones, and what you'll find with Granit Xhaka is, despite what people think about his performances, he does stay in the area that he's assigned to. The majority of his time is spent in that position. Now, maybe he's not good enough, but when you compare that to Guendouzi's, who's supposed to be sitting alongside him, but there was one game where he spent almost 30% of his time sort of out to the right. That tells me that Xhaka's in the team for his positional discipline. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree with that. But just going back to Guendouzi for a second, he nearly gave away a penalty again yesterday for no reason. He's not disciplined. We say Xhaka's not disciplined, but look at Guendouzi. Why do our players never learn from mistakes? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, mate. It's a real problem. Would you pull the trigger on Unai Emery now? Would you give him a bit longer? What do you think's going to happen?
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, yes, he's got to go. But I said this before the game, on the Leicester game. I said he's not going to get sacked even if you get beat. The basis being that we're expected to get beat, number one. And number two, Harry, none of our directors have ever sacked a manager mid-season. They've only had to deal with Wenger. And also, the third reason I think they're not going to get rid of him before the end of the season, they want to keep the status quo for as long as possible. Because when they picked the first manager before last season, they got a free one. Well, Wenger's gone, so it's going to be difficult. Now they've got to make another decision. And I think the pressure will be on them even more, these directors. So I don't think they're looking for that to happen tomorrow. I think they're going to string it as long as possible.
Agreed, mate. I think we're gonna wait a little bit longer. I think, as I said to a previous caller, I think we're gonna see him take charge of the Southampton game, see him take charge of the Norwich game, and he's kind of a horrible position to be in, because I feel like if he does okay in those games, the board are going to say, "Oh, you know what? We've turned the corner. Let's leave him longer." But there's been this whole debate about wanting your team to lose. It's not about wanting your team to lose. It's about being more accepting of a defeat if you think that the overall outcome is going to be a positive one. And I'm at that point. I genuinely am. I don't know what you think about that, Melvin.
Yeah, you shouldn't want your team to get beat, but you want to see change.
Absolutely.
That's not the only way. I mean, a bad performance and win. Yeah, really, that's the best we can hope for, is have a very bad performance, but win. But that's not always going to happen. The thing is, what we've got to worry about now, Harry, we're going to be looking at teams below us now and not teams above us.
Yeah.
And we've never haven't done that for years.
That's right. That's right. Great stuff, Melvin. Thank you so much, mate. And we'll catch up again soon.
Thanks, Harry. All the best. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Brilliant, Melvin there, regular caller. Really singing from the same hymn sheet as me at the moment. Lots and lots going on, of course. Let's move on to the next caller. Just dialing up the number. I must get faster at this. I think I have got faster since the first one we done. Hopefully they're running a little bit smoother now. Here we go.
Hello.
Good evening, mate. Welcome to the Chronicles of a Gooner. What's your name? Where are you talking to us from?
Hi, my name's Charlie, and I'm from Surrey.
How you doing, Charlie? Welcome back, mate. You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. What do you want to say on the Arsenal at the minute? What are your thoughts at present? How are you feeling?
Oh, so unfortunately for me, it's just waking up every day hoping to see the breaking news on Sky Sports that he's been sacked. But I think that's a bit of a dream at the minute, to be honest.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I keep saying this evening, I think he's going to get a little bit longer. At least I think he'll last till Christmas. What did you make of the game at Leicester yesterday?
To be honest with you, I disagree with quite a few of the fans that thought we were okay and that we were better. In my opinion, I thought it was just Leicester that were worse than they usually are. And then as soon as they scored the goal, they started playing how they usually do, and then they killed us. Basically, they could have scored 3 or 4 in the end. In the first half, I thought they, even though we tried to keep our shape quite a bit, and we just let them have the ball, they did carve us open quite a few times. And Vardy could have scored quite a few times. And then in the second half, indeed, he hit the post. So I think it was more Leicester's performance wasn't as good, and that we were just kind of average again, and then they upped it. So it was more.
Go ahead, mate. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was. To be honest with you, I wasn't even sad about it either. It's more expected. I was just waiting for it to happen.
But that's the sad thing, isn't it? As fans, that we're feeling like that at the moment. That we're feeling so disconnected from our football club. Like we're not that bothered anymore. Like that's how it feels. And the last few games I've been to, obviously I've still gone to them, but you kind of don't have that buzz for it. And there's been games where you're thinking I should have stayed home and watched this on the telly. And when I used to hear people say that, I used to go mad. I used to have like friends and family that were older than me that used to say, "Oh, you know what, mate? Why don't you just stay home and watch it on the TV?" And I used to be like, "What's wrong with you? You got the opportunity to go and you don't want to go." And now I'm kind of understanding it, because for the first time in my entire life as an Arsenal supporter, I feel really, really disconnected with the club. What did you make of the back three? Are you thinking that that's something that we're going to see more of this season?
With Unai Emery, anything's possible. But honestly, I wasn't a fan of it, and they looked so bloody confused. It's ridiculous. I'm not a huge fan of Match of the Day and their analysis, but I must admit, I watched it, and the analysis of Arsenal was spot on. Like for the first goal, I think they circled 6 or 7 Arsenal players on the right hand side. There was about 3 or 4 Leicester players, and the way they just cut through us, like they didn't know where they were or what they were doing, and then the space for Vardy just get in the back post and score. I thought it was criminal, and I know he's a passionate guy, and a lot of Arsenal fans love him. But Guendouzi, for me, is he's been shown too much responsibility by Unai Emery.
Agreed. You get a big thumbs up from me on that one. I completely agree with you. His performances have been so overrated.
Yeah. I feel like I was saying to my mum, I was like, has he got nudes on him or something? Because when he brought Torreira off for Willock, I was thinking, surely you got to keep Torreira on and bring Guendouzi off, because Torreira, even though he was quiet, for me had a better game than Guendouzi.
Guendouzi's been poor in the last couple of weeks, I think. And like I said previously on the show, a little bit earlier, I feel like Guendouzi's only really actually had 2 brilliant halves of football this season.
No, I completely agree. I think it's just for Unai Emery, I think it's just the heart and fight that he shows. And also, I know with Unai Emery, he likes it when players get angry, because it shows that they love football so much, they want to play football. And he loves that kind of reaction from them. And from what I've read and heard, apparently Guendouzi gets really angry when he doesn't play.
Yeah.
So even though I like that from a young player, there's going too far.
He's got to know his place.
Too much.
He's got to know his place.
He's 20 years old, and I don't know. It's just a bit of it's not, the discipline's not there for me. Like you were saying to the caller earlier about Xhaka, I must admit, we do miss Xhaka quite badly, just for the discipline he shows, like in his positional play, not necessarily his actions, just
staying in his place. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Just to hold him.
That's right. Great stuff, Charlie. Thank you so much, mate. I'm going to have to move on just because I've got lots of numbers and I want to power through as many as I possibly can. Thank you so much. And Unai out. That's it. Me too, mate. All the best. Take care.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That was Charlie. Another great caller. Another Unai Emery out. Let us know in the comments what you think about what is being said on this evening show. Lots of brilliant calls coming through. And I can see lots of you are subscribing as we're live on air, because I'm getting little email notifications. So big thank you to you guys for your continued support. Let's move on to the next one, and I'm sure some of you will recognize this voice. Here we go.
Hello.
How's it going, Colin? Welcome back to the show, mate. You all right?
Yeah, Harry, I'm good. I mean, result aside, obviously, but
Colin, you're Emery out now, right?
mate, I've been Emery out since Watford. I don't think I have to explain why. Like,
Mate, what did you make of the game yesterday? First of all,
absolutely diabolical. I mean, I heard people say that we weren't that bad in the first half. Well, first of all, Leicester weren't that great. So if you're judging it off our previous performances, yeah, it's better. But what are you judging it against?
that's right.
Like, really?
That's right, mate. Great point.
I don't understand why we went with the back three. Like, it's been proven over time that it doesn't work. And yet we went back to, oh Jesus.
What did you make, Colin? Colin, what did you make of the fact that Aubameyang and Lacazette were almost playing like wingers?
I couldn't understand it for the life of me.
And they were, weren't they? It's not just my imagination.
Yeah.
They were genuinely doing that, weren't they?
No, when the team sheet came out, I was thinking to myself, oh, we're going with Aubameyang and Lacazette up front. Okay, fine, I can work with that. When the game was going on, I was like, are they playing out wide, the pair of them? No, surely not. But it looked more like that as the game went on.
It did indeed.
I couldn't work out what I was watching. It was like, what even is this? Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, and Guendouzi, man. Listen, I appreciate passion, but there's a time and a place. Like, seriously.
No, I agree with you, mate. I've always been it's not that I don't like Matteo Guendouzi. It's not that I don't want him to do well. I do want him to do well. And we have seen signs that there is a good player in there somewhere. My problem is that as Arsenal Football Club, a club of our size, with our and let's have it right. You know, people talk about that we don't spend money. Mate, we spent £72 million on a winger that keeps getting left on the bench lately. But I guess the point I want to make is we shouldn't be so heavily reliant on a 20-year-old kid who's still learning his trade, who realistically, before he came to Arsenal, was playing in the French second division. It's a huge step up, and we shouldn't be expecting the world from him at this point. But Unai Emery keeps putting him in that position, and he's going to do him damage, isn't it?
For me, Unai Emery has to take the majority of the blame for that. Now, don't get it twisted. I want Guendouzi to do well as well. But let's be real. Before he came to Arsenal, he was a nobody.
Agreed.
You know, that may be harsh to some people, but it's a fact. Okay? Now that he's come to Arsenal, yes, he's had good performances here and there. But aside from 1, 2 paths at a push, he's not been that good. Like, I've not seen anything from him this season that justifies him getting picked week after week.
Agreed.
Like, I just haven't. As far as the rest of the game goes, it was all garbage. Like, the majority of the performances have been. People talk about Emery ball. I've got a new word for it. Bullshit ball.
It's not entertaining, is it? I mean, I some people on my Twitter were sort of having a go at me a little bit yesterday because I was one of the people in recent weeks that was saying you cannot keep playing with such a lack of creativity and leaving Mesut Ozil out. Now, do I think that Ozil is the greatest player in the world? No. Do I think there are better number 10s? Of course I bloody do. But the point is that we don't have anybody better. Well, for me, yesterday, I mean, what's he going to do in a team set up like that? In a team where we can't keep possession, our strikers are non-existent because they're having to track back almost like wing backs. And people are very quick to jump on Ozil and say, "Oh, he didn't perform again. Away from home, he didn't perform." But that's a bit unfair, isn't it? Based on how poorly the rest of the side are playing, surely.
He was one of the better players in the squad, Harry.
Agreed.
Like, I don't. Do you know what I noticed, right? A lot of the time, and this happens a lot, right? Now, I'm not Ozil's biggest fan, far from it. But he's having to come deep a lot of the time just to get the ball. Like, and when you're putting your strikers out wide, how are you helping it?
Yeah, you're right, mate. You're right.
Like, that's the job of the manager. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, you put Ozil on the team, give him the platform to succeed and do what he does. He didn't do that.
He doesn't seem to ever do it, does he?
No, he's doing that with Pepe as well. One thing I've noticed, right, and I'm sure you've noticed this as well, he's not playing to the player's strengths. He's not.
Agreed.
He's not. A lot of the players are being misused. And I include Ceballos in that, right? People are having a go at Ceballos saying, I hope we don't,
we don't sign him.
I hope we don't sign him. Well, my argument is, look at what is happening in midfield, right? It looks so disjointed. It's a joke. It's a joke. He continues to play Xhaka and Guendouzi as a pivot, which for the 5 millionth time does not fucking work.
Agreed, mate. Agreed.
Like, how can I see this and this absolute clown of a manager can? Do you know what? I even put a tweet out a couple of weeks ago saying that it's almost fitting that today or Thursday is Halloween because we've got a clown as a manager.
You're right, mate. You're right. Colin, I'm going to have to leave it there, mate, just because of time purposes. But thank you so much for coming on again, and we'll speak again soon, no doubt.
No problem, mate. Emery out all the way. Bye-bye, bitch.
Take care, mate. All the best. Bye-bye. That was the brilliant Colin, another fantastic caller. While I line up the next one, just having a look at some of your comments in the live chat. A big shout out to every single one of you who is tuned in, whether that's via Twitter, Periscope, or of course our YouTube channel. Please do hit that subscribe button if you're new, and if you're watching, please do give the video a thumbs up. It's really important. A big shout out to all those Chelsea fans as well, because there's a few Chelsea fans watching for some strange reason. Their club is not big enough, so they're probably seeking a bit of a thrill over here. That's what happens when you support a tin pot club that were absolutely nothing before Roman Abramovich came along. What can I say? You lot should be happy. You're flying under Frank Lampard at the moment. Go and enjoy yourselves. What are you doing listening to Arsenal fans moan for? Jesus Christ. Is there no end to how low Chelsea fans all stoop? Here we go. Let's move on to the next caller. Hello, mate. Welcome to the Chronicles of a Gooner. What's your name? Where are we talking to you from?
Hello, mate. It's Harvey calling from Birmingham.
How you doing, Harvey? Welcome to the show, mate. What do you want to say on the Arsenal?
Basically, Unai Emery's got to go, really. Hopefully they get it sorted this international break. We've got quite a few good games that a new manager could come in and really kind of get a few good runs. Because the way we look at it at the moment, with Unai Emery, you look at those easy games and I can't see us even winning, even against Southampton, against Norwich. But with a new manager, I think we can kind of look forward to him a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, when would you have pulled the trigger? Have you just got to this point now, or are you someone who's had doubts for a while?
No, I've been saying it since we lost to Crystal Palace at home last season.
Me too.
You know, we needed, I think it was 1 point to get into Europe. And the run of games that we had as well, comparing that to the other top four rivals. You know, the problem with Unai Emery is he did great at Sevilla, but that's his kind of that's where he's at. That's his kind of level. We need someone with the Arsenal. We're not Sevilla. We're not that level. We're a level above that kind of competition. Europa League. We shouldn't be anywhere near the Europa League. We're a Champions League team, and I think Unai Emery's just in above his head.
Yeah, I think he's kind of made it really, really difficult for himself in the way he's handled certain situations, in my opinion. And I'm going to get your thoughts on the whole Granit Xhaka thing, because we haven't had a fans phone in since that all kicked off. And I guess for me, what Xhaka did was wrong. There's no question about that. But for me, the treatment he was getting was out of order, and you can see why he got to that breaking point. Put his footballing ability to one side for a minute. As a human being, as a player of this football club, he shouldn't have been treated the way he was. He snapped, he reacted. What I've been really surprised about is, considering Unai Emery has made this guy the captain, and he'll say that the players voted for him, but ultimately Emery has the final say. Considering the responsibility and the faith he's shown in this player, the fact that he's decided not to back him whatsoever in this, it is strange to me, and it's another sign of Unai Emery being disconnected with his squad. What's your take on that whole scenario?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Xhaka's a scapegoat in this team. You know, I've heard a few fans say about Guendouzi, which mistakes he's young. He shouldn't really be starting as many games as he should.
Agreed.
But Xhaka, I think he's been made a scapegoat. He's a lot better than people make out, but because he's got that target on his head, because he's been made captain, I think everyone just kind of goes straight for him. You know, he's the pivot and the partnership that he had with Torreira last season when we were in 22 games unbeaten was brilliant. But then for some reason, Unai Emery, he went back on himself, and he tried to change it up. He tried to become this protagonistic team. And the fact that he's shifting the blame as well. You know, shifting the blame on, well, the players picked the captain. I didn't pick it. I put it to a vote, which was wrong. You know, as a manager, as a top-level manager, you know, I couldn't see Jose Mourinho or Allegri coming in and saying, there you go, guys, you pick the captain. It's completely up to you. I'm not the leader. Unai Emery, he should have came in. He should have decided his captain, said, this is the captain that I've chosen. It's an extension of me on the pitch. If it goes wrong, I'll take the blame. But he's completely put the blame onto Xhaka the last few weeks. I don't think he's defended him well enough. I don't think he's come out and said, you know, look, it was my fault. I've done this, I've done that. I think he's completely left Xhaka to take the blame.
Agreed. Do you think, what do you make of the Mourinho talk? There's a lot of that. I don't think it's going to happen. But, you know, Mourinho seems to be testing the water a little bit. Maybe his agent's out there touting him about here and there. I think he's ready to come back. Would you have him at Arsenal?
You see, I have seen him at the last few times he's been on Sky Sports, kind of flirting with Arsenal and, you know, paying us compliments and making sure he gets the Pepe compliments in there as well. And I'd take Mourinho. I think he'd come in and really, we need to look for someone that's going to come in and improve every player that we've got currently. And I think Mourinho is that guy that would come in, he'd improve every single player in that team. You know, people say he's a defensive manager, or look what he did with his last season with Man United. Man United have got a poor team, and he got them to second. You know, he said to the club that he wanted a centre-back there. They didn't get it. He wasn't happy, so he made clear that, look, this is what I wanted. The hierarchy at Man United didn't get it. Look at where we are now in the league. And then Man United got rid of him. I don't think that was Mourinho's fault. I think it was their kind of state. Yeah. But I do think Mourinho would come in and change every single player and make us into a winning team. But there are other candidates out there that I'd prefer longer term. I think get Mourinho in for the rest of the season, maybe put him on a 2-year contract and see how it goes and go from there. But I think Allegri would do great as well. Allegri with kind of Thierry Henry or Lundberg underneath him.
Somebody who understands the club, right?
Yeah, just as a longer term project. But for now, we do need someone that's of a top level that's got that authority. My picks would be either Allegri or Mourinho. I mean, I'd love Mourinho there, to be fair.
Great stuff. Harvey, thank you so much for joining us, mate. And we hope to chat to you again very soon in the near future.
Perfect. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
All the best, mate. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There we go. That was Harvey from the Midlands. Right, guys. Getting a few DMs through for people that are putting their numbers down, and that's great. The list is getting longer and longer, and I'm going to try and go a little bit longer than the allotted hour because I want to get through, like I said, as many of you calls as I can. So we're going to run a little bit longer. But if you are interested in coming on, please DM us on the Twitter of the show, which is @Chronicles_AFC. If you're sending them to my personal one, which I've had a few come through, they're not getting to me because I'm getting the numbers passed on to me. So please send them to the @Chronicles_AFC Twitter feed. That's the way to get in touch. Don't forget to like, share, all the usual stuff. Leave us a review for listening on the audio later on. Across the platforms, we've got over 500 of you tuned in at the moment. That's across multiple platforms. So thank you so much for your continued support. It is much appreciated. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button too. Let's hit the phone lines once again. Here we go.
Hello.
How you doing, mate? Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you talking to us from?
Deepak, and I'm speaking to you from Welling Garden City.
How you doing, Deepak? Welcome back, mate. You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I've not watched any of tonight's show because I've just been busy, but yeah, still, I just wanted to say a couple of things, really.
Go ahead, mate.
Yeah, just you know, to me now, I mean, I gave up a couple of games ago, to be honest, with the team that I love. Only because of the way it's managed. And, you know, I guess a lot of your callers probably tonight, I could guess, have been talking about tactics, lack of management, strategy. You know, the players, I believe we have the players to a certain extent. You know, the last game as such, you know, they were just crying out for support, guidance, leadership, none of which is coming from Unai Emery. And I believe now it's down to Josh Concrete because he is the Arsenal board. You know, I see people talking about Rahul and Vinay, and yeah, they're his employees. But if they, you know, it's like if I go to my manager and say, right, I want to implement this change, my manager, my CEO, let's say, he or she has a final say, right? So it's like now in the next 2 weeks, it's not even the next 2 weeks, is it? It should have been done long ago, like, you know, 5 games into the season, that Josh should grow a pair and say, you know, this is not the direction I want the club to go in. But then why is he going to say that, Harry? Because if he's making money or what have you, who really cares? Will he come out with another statement May, June, when season ticket are up for renewal? That's one of my points. And the second point, I can't remember, but hold on, it will come to me just 1 second. Yeah, about Aubameyang. I think Aubameyang he's been made a scapegoat. He's popular with the fans, you know, he's goal scorer, we'll just give him the captaincy. You know, it's like, you know, we clearly don't have a leader. And we can't just go and get one, but the manager, it's up to the manager to find his leader, you know, that man to go to on the pitch. I think in our last game, Tierney was sort of telling, not our last game, the penultimate game, you know, so I think it was a European game against Victoria. Tierney was telling Unai, just chill out, man, I know what I'm doing. And still, it's just a sad state of affairs. And, you know, just to wrap up on the point that it's now up to Josh. Okay, now show us your ambition. You know, what is it you want? You know, what is it you want? What is it you're prepared to do? Okay, who do I want to give it to? Mate, anyone apart from Unai Emery. Give it to Freddie, give it to whoever, man. Just until the end of the season. If we get someone more long-term, great. No, actually, just don't give it to Mourinho. Having said all of that.
I'd rather give it to you, mate, than Unai Emery at the minute. Genuinely.
So you can get into the press office, right? and grill me.
That's it, mate. That's it. At least I might get an answer from you. I've asked Unai Emery a question before, and I got an answer that was completely different to what the question was I asked. So that's just how we are. Deepak, I'm going to have to leave it there, mate. Thank you so much. Just short of time at the minute, but thank you for joining us, and we'll speak again soon, I'm sure.
No worries, my friend. Thanks for having me on.
All the best, mate.
Fight.
Take it. That was Deepak. Let's move on. More numbers coming through. It's brilliant. I'm not complaining. Just doing my best to get to as many as I possibly can. Let's dial up the next one. Here we go. Keep your live comments coming too. Really enjoying reading those as well.
Hello.
How you doing, mate? Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you talking to us from?
Hi, mate. My name's Sam from Colchester.
How you doing, Sam? Welcome back to the show, my friend. You've been on before, haven't you? How are you?
Indeed. It could be better, mate. Could be better, couldn't we? Really?
Makes two.
Things could be a lot better. But it could have been worse. I was expecting 4-0, to be honest. That's what I was saying throughout the week. So
I'm almost using this. This is almost therapy, isn't it, for us? I think it makes me feel good. I don't know.
Desperate to rant about stuff. Exactly.
Go ahead, mate. What do you want to say?
I think, like other people said, I think Leicester were a lot worse than what we expected. I think they toyed with us for a lot of the game, and then all of a sudden, that first goal's sublime football, and then I think I saw a stat that said we didn't have a shot on target after the 53rd minute, which is quite appalling, really. And then it looks even worse because I was watching it with my cousin yesterday, and throughout the whole second half, you're just screaming like, "Where's Pepe? Where's Pepe? Where's he going to bring on Pepe?" Of course, brings him on at 2-0 down, and he can't affect the game because the game's gone, and we're playing like a beaten team. So what's that going to do for anyone's confidence? Coming onto the pitch, 15 minutes to go, he needs to settle into the game. Never mind impact it. And he's been dropped as a Europa League player, our record signing, a Europa League player. Emery out. Can't be doing this anymore.
No, I agree with you, mate. It's driving me mad. It is driving me mad. I think there were times during Arsene Wenger's tenure, particularly towards the end, where I felt a little bit disconnected with the club, and I felt like, what am I doing here? I'm wasting my time. And since obviously Arsene Wenger left, I've had a son, which is great. But now I kind of get that there are games that I go to now, and I'm not entertained. I'm not enjoying it because we're not playing well. And you do, as much as an Arsenal fan as you can possibly be, you do get to a point where you think, I could be spending time with my son now, and instead I'm watching this absolute shit week after week after week. And Unai Emery, for me, is an absolute coward in the way he manages, in the way he sets his team up, in the way he handles affairs with his players. And lots of our problems, in my opinion, are down to the way he's handled things. It's time for him to go. Who do you want to see come in, mate?
That's what you bang on. I think the main problem is his man management, whether it's Xhaka, Ozil, Pepe, Joe Willock-Evans dropped after a superb start as well. It's just, I think that's the main reason. I think I personally would like to see Freddie Ljungberg give it a go for a bit. I think we don't need to rush a permanent appointment. I think that's what the worst thing we could do, certainly the board could do, is rush anyone. Mourinho, I don't think is in the conversation. I think that would be absolutely horrendous to everything we stand for to get Jose Mourinho in, to be honest.
I know
he's won trophies before, but so has Sir Alex Ferguson. You don't see Man United going to get Sir Alex back.
Exactly.
Apart from the fact he's, Mourinho, albeit, basically took the piss out of our greatest ever manager week after week after week at Chelsea. If we are a club with heritage and what we stand for. Mourinho's the complete antithesis of it. So anyone who wants him in, really, I'm not sure where your loyalties lie. So yeah, I think Freddie. I think everyone could get behind him. I don't think there's much pressure on him because I think he'd be more of a caretaker role. As long as we don't do United and then give him the job, I don't think he should be in the running for the job. I think just steady the ship, get some motivation behind the players. He's a club legend. The fans will be united behind him. And then just take our time with the appointment because, like previous caller said, I think this is a big pressure point now for the board, who aren't going to sack Emery anytime soon, like you said. I think he'll make it till Christmas, and then we got that run of is it Chelsea, Man City, and United. I think we could get battered by Chelsea and City the way we're playing, and then Man United New Year's Day at the Emirates. If they play like they have the last couple of years and take the piss out of us, I think that could be the curtain for Emery. I think Man United on New Year's Day might be his last game. But yeah, I don't think we need to rush an appointment, but I'd like to see Ajax manager Ten Hag. I think would be a good choice the way he's managed on a relatively small budget, bringing through youth players, great style of football. I think there's probably one we could get realistically as well. Whether Bergkamp's involved in that as well, that's obviously, I think, a long shot. But yeah, but like you said, I don't think the board are going to pull the trigger just yet on Unai.
Yeah, I think they'll give him a little bit longer, unfortunately. But there we go, mate. I'm going to have to leave it there just because of time. But thank you so much. Some great points as always, and I'm sure we'll speak again very soon.
No problem. Take care, mate.
Cheers, mate. All the best. Thank you very much. That was the brilliant Sam there. Guys, please do hit the like button. We want to hit 100 likes. That would be great. Big shout out to those of you, of course, currently tuned in and showing their support. I can see in a couple of your comments, some of you saying that the stream stopped temporarily. Let me know that it's all back up and running. For me, it looks fine from this end, but, you know, I don't really know because I'm not watching it the way you guys are watching it. But here we go. Anyway, let's move on to the next call. I know I say it every time. Love that ringtone. Love it. Hello, mate. What's your name and where are you talking to us from?
Hiya, Harry. It's Dan from Exeter.
Dan, welcome back, mate. How are you?
Hi, how's it going? Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. How are you?
Good. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Kind of got to the point where I'm just accepting it now. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
It's not been great, has it? If we're being brutally honest, it's not been.
No, it's not. It's not. What have you made of the last few weeks? And you know, there was the Xhaka situation. There's a couple of bad results in there, frustrating draws. There was the defeat at Leicester yesterday. How are you feeling about the whole thing?
I think, if I'm being brutally honest, that it's been coming for a while. I mean, at the start of the season, I didn't think we started too badly, to be quite honest. I didn't think. How can I put it? I didn't think we started too badly. I thought that the games against Newcastle and Burnley, and I thought we'd done all right. But then since then, with the draw against Tottenham, as the performances went on, you could see the cracks starting to gradually appear. And against Villa and against Bournemouth, we were lucky. If we're being brutally honest with ourselves, we were lucky to get the win. And as the games went on, me personally, I started questioning Emery's tactics. With the substitutions he was making, with the lineups he's been picking, and with the the team don't look like they know what they're doing. They don't look like every player on the pitch doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. So it's and then we had like the incident with Granit Xhaka.
What did you make of that? Are you team Xhaka or are you team fans?
I'm a this is going to sound really strange. I'm a bit of both. And I'll tell you why I'm a bit of both, because if we're being brutally honest, he should never have been made captain in the first place. He's not captain material. He's not captain material. He's not, he's not, he just hasn't got that inner steel to be captain. So in that respects, I'm on his side. I completely disagree with what he done, but then I also disagree with a majority of our fan base for booing him at the stadium. I mean, I was there that game, and all around me, the fans were booing him. I disagree with that. I disagree with the cheer, the jeering him, which led to him doing what he did. And if we're being brutally honest with ourselves, if you've been taking that level of abuse, you're going to bite back at some point.
You're going to snap, aren't you? You're going to snap.
You're going to snap. You are. You're not going to, and when players, when players don't do, like if we've lost a game and they don't come over, and we get all angst at them. So if we're going to give them abuse, they're going to get angst at us. At the end of the day, they're only human. They're footballers. Yes, they get paid a lot of money, but at the end of the day, we as fans, we're not buying the rights to those players. We're just buying going to see a football match. So we have no right to abuse them.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the and I think a lot of our fan base need to realize that you can't act like that. If you got that in return, you wouldn't accept it.
Absolutely.
So I disagree. That was Emery's decision to make him captain, which in my opinion was the wrong decision.
Agreed.
But the performances haven't been great though, have they? The biggest thing that's worrying me, and it has been worrying me for a while, is that under Wenger's latter stages in charge, okay, yes, we all know that we haven't got a defence. Our defence is pretty much non-existent.
Yeah.
But what's worrying me now is our attacking play is non-existent.
Agreed.
And that is a big problem for me as an Arsenal fan who's used to seeing, us doing free-flowing football. And, if we're being honest, we've not had a great defence for years. So that really hasn't really bothered me.
It's more that we've lost our attacking zest, isn't it? It's completely gone.
I think we've lost everything, if I'm honest. There's no cohesion in our midfield. There's no cohesion up front. I just feel that we have lost our identity completely.
Absolutely. Dan, mate, I'm gonna have to leave it there, mate. Apologies, just because of time. I've got to get through as many as I possibly can before the end.
Worries.
But just wrap up your final point there, mate, because I know you were midpoint, and apologies that I cut you there.
Yeah. I just want to wrap this up by saying, in my opinion, I think the job is too big for Emery. I don't think he should. I think he's tried to do the best he can, but I think several things have let him down. The fact that he hasn't got the greatest of squads to work with. Yes, the players we've got there should be a top 4 team. We easily got the players for that, but I don't think he's coping with the Premier League. I think the language barrier is a big issue. I do think he's really struggling. I listened to his press conferences, and because being blind myself, I pay attention to every little detail in life anyway. So I listen to his press conferences, and I sort of get what he's trying to say, but at the same time, I can sort of see why the players aren't getting it, because he is really struggling.
That's right.
And I think we need a change in manager. I do think we need, you only have to ask yourself this question: when you go to Leicester away, and you go there with no confidence, as Arsenal Football Club and as fans of that, to me, that's a bigger problem. And I think, if we get somebody in now who knows, who's a winner, we need a winner. If we get somebody in now who's a winner, I think we might just be able to salvage this situation. If the board leave it any longer,
it will get worse, won't it?
In my opinion, the board have got to ask themselves two questions. Do they want to stick with Emery and potentially miss out on Champions League football, which we can't afford to do? Or do they want to get grip on this now and possibly get top four? Because you have to understand as well, if we don't make Champions League, players like Aubameyang and Lacazette, they're going to be off. They're not going to want to stick around.
Absolutely,
because this will be our third season outside of, outside the top European, football, and we need that. We definitely need that, Harry.
Definitely, mate.
To get that.
Definitely. Great points there, Dan. I'm going to have to cut it there, like I said, mate, just because I've got to move on to some more calls. But thank you so much for calling in once again, and we'll speak soon, no doubt.
No worries. Thanks for having me on.
All the best, mate. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
That was Dan. Some of you may have recognized his voice from AFTV. He's done a few interviews on there. And there are some comments in the section coming through at the moment with people, get him off and whatever. And I've seen a few of those tonight with different callers. It's not specific to Dan. But, mate, this show is about people coming on and having their say. That's what it's for. So, if you're brave enough to call up, because it's not easy talking on something like this, if you can do better, then put your money where your mouth is and DM us at Chronicles_AFC with your number. Let's get you on. Let's see what you've got to say, because this channel, I'm not going to have people disrespecting people that have taken time, that have shown support to the channel and are calling in and having their say on Arsenal, because we're all Arsenal fans. So I'm not going to have that. Right, on to the next one. That's my rant over. Here we go. Let's dial the number. Look, you got me all wound up there. Now, the point is, there are people who are taking time out to get involved in the show, and I really, really appreciate that. And I don't think it's nice for people to be going on at them in the comments, particularly when seemingly some of those people don't want to call up. Here we go. You can't slate them for calling up or slate their points. Everybody has a different view. That's just the way it is. A big shout out to Giorgio listening from Cyprus, the motherland. How you doing, mate? Thanks for tuning in. Here we go. Next one.
447.
Well, we've gone through to a voicemail there. But we're going to move forward because we are short of time. And that's the way it works, unfortunately. If we can't get through to you, we will move on. Let's get on to the next call. Here we go.
Hello there.
Hi, mate. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you talking to us from?
My name's Johns and I'm from London.
Johns, welcome, mate. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not too bad,
I'm
mate.
not good, man. Arsenal are just
frustrating.
They're making me so annoyed, mate. I promise you.
That makes two of us, mate. What do you want to say on the current situation at the club?
Emery out all the way. Emery out. He has to go. I don't mind he comes in, to be honest. I prefer Allegri. I like him a lot. I hear the talk about Mourinho as well. He's flirting with the club. And I don't like him personally because of, the history. We don't... That guy, I can't... He's been at Man United as well. Because, come on, we're Arsenal. We can't have him. We can't, honestly.
What have you made of these bloody formation changes and the different types of teams that we keep seeing? And there's a back three, we see back fours, we see Pepe in the team, we see Pepe out. What's going on?
I just don't understand why he's not going back to what he was doing at the start. Like, we went 22 games unbeaten, and this team is better than what we had last season. Like, why is he not playing Pepe on the right, Lacazette up front, Aubameyang on the left, Ozil in the 10, Guendouzi, Torreira in the DM? It's simple. It's so simple. Keep the back four, Chambers, Holding, Tierney, Bellerin. It's simple stuff. And he's not doing it. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. And what he's doing, he just needs to go because he's clueless. He's lost the dressing room. Shaka's lost his head as well. I feel for him because honestly, he's getting abused online and it's not right at all. But he has to go. I promise you. It's all Emery's fault for me. And the board need to make a decision. These 2 weeks are serious and it's depending on our whole season. Trust me.
Agreed, mate. Who would you like to see come in if they were to part company with?
I told you, Allegri.
Allegri,
Allegri's
yeah.
our best option. If he comes in, he'll sort us out definitely. And just not Emery. Anyone but Emery. Promise you. Anyone but Emery. Give it to me. Promise you. I'll do something better with this team. Trust me. Just not Emery. Please get him out. Please.
Yeah, he's lost it for me. He's lost it, and I think towards the back end of last season we started to see the cracks. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I wanted him gone then, but I kind of accepted that it was only his first season and I was willing to give him a bit longer. But so far, I've not been impressed. Johns, thank you so much for joining me, mate. And we hope to have you on again. No worries, mate. All the best. Take care. That was Johns. Right. Let's move on to the next caller. Here we go. Let's dial this one up. And guys, there's a few people in the chat sort of having a go. I will be just removing people from the chat if they're having a go at other fans. We're Arsenal fans. We're here to talk about our club. We're not here to get in stupid arguments. On the comments section about who's a good caller and who's not. Everyone's got the opportunity to have their say. If you don't like what you're hearing, jump on and have a say yourself.
Hello.
Good evening, mate. Welcome to the Chronicles of a Gooner. What's your name and where are you talking to us from?
Hi, my name's Ryan. I'm calling from London.
Ryan, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Oh, it could be better. Could be a lot better.
What do you want to say on the current shit show that is Arsenal Football Club?
Where do you want to start? We've got a head coach that his language, as you touched on before, other callers, his language barrier is absolutely appalling. He's handled the Granit Xhaka situation abysmally. He threw him under the bus, and to the point where I believe the board had to get involved and take the armband of Xhaka because it didn't seem like Emery wanted to do that.
Yep.
And as you said, he's changed the formations again. It's like he came to us with a formation that he liked, 4-2-3-1. But he didn't have wingers, so we gave him a bite. He's got a winger now in Pepe. He doesn't use it. And he's now changed to like a 3 at the back with wing backs. What formation he chooses, it doesn't suit the players that we've got. And hence we're getting the results we're getting. The players don't understand because of the language barrier. And performances week in, week out are getting worse and worse and worse.
Do you think the language barrier is that much of a problem then, Ryan? Because what I think the language barrier is doing is I think it's making it harder for the fans to warm to him because we maybe don't necessarily fully understand what the points are that he's trying to get across at times. I think that's the problem. I think communication has been an issue, and I'd have liked to have seen him because don't get me wrong, nobody's disrespecting Unai Emery for the fact that his English isn't great because it's not easy to speak in another language, to come into a job like Arsenal where there's so much focus on every word that you say and deliver your message accurately. But I just think the club should have been a little bit more responsible here in the sense that sit a translator with him for the times where he does struggle to get a point across. They can just step in and help him. We're not saying that, he needs them there to basically translate word for word everything he says, but there will be some points that are very key, that are very crucial, that he will need help getting across.
Well, exactly. And everyone was touching on that. You look at the captains, obviously he's picked Xhaka as his main captain. Being that they've been told the players can't understand the instructions yet. The one player that speaks his mother tongue is Hector Bellerin. So why would he even though Hector isn't the captain, he's not captain material.
Yep.
it would have made more sense to make him captain, speak the mother tongue to him, and because he actually speaks perfect English, he can then translate.
Help him out
perfectly.
Yeah. It's a valid point. It's a valid point.
But it's got to a point now. If he doesn't go in this 2-week period, and he obviously stays on, like you said, from Norwich and Southampton game respectively. Well, after Southampton game, if worst case scenario we lose that, and obviously teams above us all win, we'll be like 11 points off top 4 of going into the Norwich game, and Norwich I think that's a way, so they'll turn up for that.
Yep.
And that'll be the sort of game we don't turn up for. Our away form is absolutely appalling.
That's right.
I mean, it was bad under Wenger in his last season, but it wasn't. It just got worse. Things were meant to get better.
It's meant to get better, but it's gotten worse, hasn't it?
Things are meant to get better, but we're getting worse. Even like we've got no attack. We've got the attack players in the team. We've got the players to attack, but he doesn't utilise it.
Agreed, mate. Ryan, I'm going to have to leave it there, mate, just because of time. But thank you so much, and we'll speak again soon. All the best.
Yeah, and you. Thank you, Harry. Bye.
Cheers, mate. That was Ryan. Let's move on. I'm going to take a couple more calls before we lock off. We've gone 22 minutes over, but we'll get through a few more calls. A couple more of you. We'll get you on the line before we close out for the evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Chronicles of a Gooner. What's your name and where are you talking to us from?
Hey guys, what's up? My name's Silva from Hempstead in the UK.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. All things considered, given how, let's put it frank, how shit Arsenal are at the moment.
I know, for real.
How pissed off I am with the manager. But what do you want to say? What's your feelings on the whole situation?
Well, that's I woke up this morning thinking, I don't know if I can do this anymore. You know, I've been a fan for 26 years and I just got to a point where I thought we need to accept that we're not the big club we used to be. We're big in some ways, but we've actually lost a lot of what made Arsenal a big club. And if you look at Chelsea, the reason why I think they're doing so well is in any profession, passion and the point is the most important thing. We're now living in a world where money's taken over. So we need to look at the players who play because they enjoy football. Like I look at the likes of Kieran Tierney. He's a passionate player. You can see that he loves football more than money. And I think we've got too many players now who are thinking about their branding, their prestige, and not actually playing football because they enjoy it, because they want to win things. They're playing it for the brand and for their name. But we need to strip all that down and look at the players who actually want to build something and build on them.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on Unai Emery? Would you pull the trigger on him now? Would you wait till the end of the season? Because all the sounds that are sort of coming out of the club, and I know we shouldn't take that as gospel because things can change very quickly in football, but do you feel like he's going to get till the end of the season?
I mean, it's a tough one. I think when he first came in, I was quite impressed with what he was saying and what he was doing. I mean, I look at motivation and stuff that you do on a daily basis, and he was coming in saying all the right things. But I don't believe that he's actually got a structure in place or a plan in place in any walk of life. As I said before, I'm a music artist, and I believe that you have to have the core in place. You have to have your system in place. You need to build on it. But he seems to be a little bit too irrational. And I think if we don't see any leadership coming from Unai Emery, then he has got to go. But the leadership ultimately comes from the top. I mean, I work for a corporate company. And if the people right at the top of that business don't have a foundation to build on, everything underneath it breaks. So if the leadership from the top isn't right, then Unai Emery is never going to get it right. But they need to make sure he's getting it right. Otherwise, there's no point in keeping him.
Absolutely. Sylvia, you mentioned you're a music artist. Where can people find your music? Let's give you a cheeky plug on it.
Oh, cheers, mate. I'm currently active on Facebook under Mezzorashi Music. I do a lot of motivational posts. In fact, I did one today, and I believe like motivation and believing in yourself is the most important thing. And I do preach it quite a bit, but I think if the players just thought about how they are now and where they want to be, we can actually build on that. And all the fans will get involved as well. It's not about just kicking the ball around. It's about trying hard. And Tony Adams made a very valid point yesterday. When Arsenal used to sign players, sorry, I'm going back to football again, but when Arsenal used to sign players, they looked at the person first, the characteristics. Are they a warrior? Are they a fighter? If they're a fighter, they tick box number one. Once you've got that, you then look at the attributes. Can they play? What's their positions? Right now, we are picking players who are, yes, they are talented. Yes, they can do amazing things. But have they got the passion and that drive to win things for us? Do they have that winning mentality? Do you know what I mean? It's so important, not just in football, in any sport, in anything. And I think we've lost that at the minute, and it's really disappointing.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is concerning. It feels like things are not going to get any better anytime soon, and that's why I kind of have given up on Unai Emery. I just don't want to. I've got no time for him anymore. I was upset at the way he handled the Xhaka situation. I thought he's been handling the Ozil situation really poorly of late as well. I think there's so many black marks against Unai Emery's name in terms of his Arsenal career. It is driving me absolutely mad, and I want to see him gone ASAP.
Definitely.
Sylv,
You only
go ahead.
have to look at his interviews. We can almost predict what he's going to say in every interview. I think we tried tactically, we played well. The other team scored first, and that's why we didn't. It's the same thing every time. We need to hear the truth. We need to hear, I wasn't happy with the performance today. We need to strip it back. We don't get any of that. So I don't think he knows what he's doing at the minute.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more, Sylv. Thank you so much for calling in. There's a couple of people in the YouTube chat asking for your Facebook page. They want to check out your music. So if you wouldn't mind, just type it in on the YouTube chat so that those guys can pick it up, because I'd probably spell it wrong or something, or send them to someone else. So please do that so people can catch up with what you're doing. And thank you once again. And we hope to speak to you again in the future.
Definitely, man. Thank you for having me. Take care, guys.
No worries. All the best. Take care.
Peace. Bye.
All right. Another brilliant call there from Sylv. Do check out her music. She should be putting the name of the Facebook page in there. Like I said, Chronicles of a Gooner, we're a family. We'll plug anything worthwhile plugging that you guys have going on. Like I said, I know I went on about it a little bit earlier, but at the end of the day, we're all Arsenal fans. We're all having a chat about our club. I want to hear from as many of you as possible. I don't want to see comments from people slagging off other people, because for me, that's not what it's all about. I don't want that toxic culture here. This is a fans show. For those of you that listen to the Chronicles of a Gooner regularly, to come on, have your say, and have a little chat. That's what it's all about, all in a good nature as well. Right, let's move on to the last caller of the evening. Here we go. Good evening. Welcome to the Chronicles of a Gooner. What's your name? Where are you talking to us from?
My name's Ryan. I'm from Bournemouth.
Ryan, how you doing, mate? You're not Ryan
Good,
Fraser,
thanks.
are you?
No, unfortunately not.
How you doing,
That's the
mate?
player we need. Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. What do you want to say?
Yeah, so I just think, obviously, I've been Arsenal fan for years. Watching us over, especially the last 6 months, has been terrible. I think one of the problems is, in terms, and this is a decision at board level, is that we've gone from one manager who was towards the end of his tenure, tactically inept. You know, we're falling apart in so many games, especially the big ones, to a manager who we've gone for someone who's the other end of the spectrum. He just overthinks everything. So every time we set up in a game, it's all about what are the opposition doing? You know, how can we stop them, instead of actually trying to nail down a round of football. And I just think Emery I think he just lost control, basically.
It's the attitude of a coward, in my opinion. To go into a game of football thinking that your primary objective should be to stifle the opposition. That's what I expect from teams in the bottom half of the table. That's what I expect from
100%.
Crystal Palace when they come to the Emirates. It's what I expect from Bournemouth when they come to the Emirates. I don't expect Arsenal to be taking that approach, because, you know, maybe it's because we've been conditioned in a different way. Maybe it's because, particularly in his early days, Arsene Wenger was a ballsy manager. You know, he'd go anywhere and go out there to play proper football, attack them, and we'd get results in it, and it was great. Yes, things tailed off at the end. Nobody is sitting here saying that, you know, we shouldn't have moved Arsene Wenger on, but it's just one of those things. We might need to go through 3 or 4 appointments before we find the right man. But Unai Emery, in my opinion, is not that man.
No, and also as well, everyone goes over that 22 game run, and even at the time, everyone got a little bit hyped about it. But one thing I say about that is, I actually don't put that I don't put that down to Unai Emery, because if you look at some of our best games in that run, for example, the Leicester game, I think we won 3-1 at home, and I think I remember that Ozil goal, and I just think a lot of that run, we were still playing a lot of football how we did under Wenger. A lot of them players were still playing in that way. We still had Ramsey, players like that, and you could see as the season went on, all that creativity was just being stifled, and that's why we had that terrible form at the end of the season, and it's just continued into this season. So I think we've just lost all creativity under him as the season. I think the players got bored of his tactics. You hear of obviously all these long video. He does all them long meetings, and he's going through video footage apparently that the players are just getting bored of.
Doesn't seem to work though, does it?
No, and he is just a mid-table manager for me. I just don't think he is. I don't think he is able to manage a big club like Arsenal. Even at PSG, in his first season, I know that Monaco team was fantastic, but still with PSG, you should be winning the league. To not win the league with PSG,
I always say that as well.
That's terrible. And the big problem I have now is if we don't get rid of him this season, obviously we won't get Champions League football the way we're going. We're going to lose players like, I think Uber is going to leave if we don't get Champions League football. I think Lacazette may leave. There's talks of Bayern Munich wanting Bernd Leno now. And the thing is, Bernd Leno, I know we concede all these goals, but he's actually been I think he's been fantastic, to be fair. I think we'd be losing games by a much bigger margin if he wasn't pulling out some of the saves he's been doing. We're just going to lose all these top players, and I think then we'll be back to square one. Because to be fair, I think the board have made a lot of good moves. I think they backed him in the summer. I think the only sign I didn't like was Luiz, but I think we tried to get him Upamecano, didn't work, so we went for more of a stopgap. Luiz is only going to be here for a couple of years, but all that work's just going to go down the drain if we don't get top 4 this season. So for me, I would definitely get rid of him now. The problem is, who do you go for next?
Who would you go for?
It's a tough one, because the one I'd want, the Ajax manager, he's already come out and said he won't leave until at least the end of the season. For me, I would maybe give it to Freddie to the end of the season, to be completely honest. And then in the meantime, wait. I think I would rather wait for the right manager, not just say pick Mourinho. I'm not even a massive fan of Luis Enrique, to be completely honest. I think he's a little bit overrated. I know he did very well at Barcelona, but winning the treble with Barcelona, again, it's still a bit more difficult to win the league in France. But I don't think he is as good as what people make out. For me, it would be the Ajax manager. But as I said, I'd rather wait for the right manager and just give it to Freddie in the meantime.
Yeah, I agree, mate.
He has respected the players.
Yep.
He obviously he's brought through the youth as well, and we still may not get top 4 with Freddie, but I don't think just picking another manager for the sake of it is the right. I would definitely wait for the Ajax one. To be honest, even potentially we will obviously look into outside of the Premier League, but I'd potentially look at someone like Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's done very well.
I mean, for me, I think Ljungberg is the right man to just take it on in a sort of interim position, because for me, like you said, he knows the club, he knows the players, and we're at the point, in my opinion, a bit like where Manchester United were towards the end of Mourinho's tenure, where any change will provide an uplift. Now, that uplift might be temporary, it might be for 5-6 months, like it was at Manchester United. It was a bit shorter than that at United, but the mistake they made was they jumped the gun and gave Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis. I'm only happy for Freddie to take it for the rest of the season, if that's with a view to then reviewing it in the summer. Because let's face it, Freddie Ljungberg, we all love him, but is he an experienced enough manager to lead Arsenal Football Club in the long term? That remains to be seen. Mate, I'm going to have to leave it there just because of time, but thank you so much for coming on, and we'll hope to hear from you again soon.
No worries. Thank you very much. Cheers.
All the best, mate. That was our final caller of the evening. Another fantastic call. Lots of great calls tonight. How many of you did we get through tonight? I think this was a record. We've still got more numbers, but unfortunately, we're going to have to cut it short there. It's a school night. Jesus. We got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 callers this evening. That's incredible. So thank you to everyone for your participation. Thank you for sending in your numbers. And don't forget to stay tuned to our Twitter feed at Chronicles_AFC for more information on when the next one is coming. We're going to be trying to do these weekly. I know I said that in the past. Unfortunately, work commitments have prevented me from doing that, but the podcast is going strong. We're approaching 3,500 subscribers on YouTube. That's not to mention all the lovely people that are subscribed on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and all the usual places. So a big thank you. The community is growing. We're loving it. Loving interacting with you guys on this show too. And we'll be back very, very soon with more. So until then, take care and have a good night's sleep. All the best.